Physeal injury is a special type of injury most commonly found in the pediatric age group. And pediatric bone has been differentiated from adult bone in multiple angle. Like this pediatric bone has a huge or tough periosteum which is very robust in structure, which helps in mechanical support as well as high content of highly active cambium layer. Along with it acts as a bridging effect in the fracture site. Along with this periosteum is so hyperactive that it can accept any type of angulation in pediatric bone. Even in the newborn baby, 90-degree angulation in femur can be accepted and remodeled as well. Regarding the remodeling, after bone healing, there is a special feature in pediatric bone which is called remodeling. Means after manulian or union in the wrong anatomical position, the manulian can be remodeled in its normal shape due to multiple time weight bearing of that bony trabeculae, and it is governed by osteoclast cell, and it will cause as look like a normal bone. This is called remodeling, and it is most commonly found in growing child. Then the pediatric bone is soft enough and has high elasticity, so chance of fracture in pediatric bone is very rare. And the pediatric bone fracture is some extent atypical. I will discuss it at the end of the discussion. And among all the pediatric fracture, the physeal injury is most neglected, most untreated, and most dangerous type of fracture may be overlooked by our normal orthopedic surgeon. Even from general physician, they must know about the physeal injury. So, what is physis? It is also a differentiating point in the pediatric bone, that in the junction of epiphysis and metaphysis there is a cartilaginous structure. It is called growth plate. And in the X-ray of a skeletally immature child, we can easily understand there is a irregular osteolytic area. It is not actually osteolytic, it is a radio opaque area, radiolucent area parallel to the joint line, and the outer aspect the outer margin of that area will be continuous with the black area of the X-ray. That means this physis is open. When it comes to uh, 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 near about skeletal maturity, that will fuse. So after that we can radiologically know that bone will not going to grow again. But until and unless this physis will present radiologically, the child will grow. And in the case of a male in at the year of 18 year, this physis is going to close, and in case of female it can be uh, very early, like 16 years also, because of activity or special activity in the growth plate or this germinal layer by testosterone and estrogen. Now regarding this physis has is constituted with some highly proliferating layer like germinal zone, proliferating zone, hypertrophic zone, and zone of encondral ossification. After that, this area is highly vascular by a hairpin like loop, and this area is called junction is called zone of Ranvier. Now this physis this physis is actually cartilaginous structure. That's why that is radiolucent in the X-ray. And this zone of hypertrophy is highly vascular and constituted with multiple vessels along with some nerve. So this area is very weak. This is called weakest area of the physis, and maximum physeal injury occurs through this region. Okay, so it is zone of hypertrophy. That is very important. That is the most weakest part of the physis. Now you have to keep in mind that this fracture is an emergency. Though it seems to be undisplaced, it fracture is an emergency. And to know the or to assess radiologically a pediatric fracture, you have to know the some knowledge, or you have to keep some knowledge about the ossification or facial maturation time, and the age of ossification center will arise like that, which I which is the important topic of FSM. But here you must have some knowledge, and among them we can take 2 to 3 MCQ over here. The before birth, the ossification center of the knee is appear, and before birth the calcaneum ossification center appear, and before birth first ossification center appear in the clavicle at the 45 age of intrauterine life. And regarding this maturation of this physeal line or growth plate, when uh, this 5 layer, this will help to increase the length of the bone vertically, and this type of ossification is called end chondral ossification. Means this is the growth plate and this is the end of the plate, where this cell will get mature, then it will replaced by osteoid, and that will cause a osteoid line formation. So in that case, that will take a height of this physeal plate, and this physeal portion of that physis will act as a normal bone. During this process, sometimes in parallel of this physeal plate or parallel of this joint line, there will be some 1 to 3 line. This is called Harris growth line, and it also acts as a physeal scar also, or after physis closure or maturation, there will be some scar horizontal to the joint line, is called Harris growth line. Okay, now what are the classification of the physeal fracture? The physeal fracture is generally for undergraduate student. You just keep in my mind, there are most commonly 5 types of injury. One, through the physis to the zone of hypertrophy, throughout the physis is straight, S for straight, and this is called straight across. This is type 1. Now another fracture, 50% of this fracture go through the hypertrophic zone, then it will pass through the metaphyseal area. So there is a small metaphyseal peak. This is also called Thurston Holland fragment. Thurston Holland fragment. Why this is different from all other fracture? Because some extent of the physis remain active. Now as some extent of the physis remain active and some extent of the physis got injured, then the chance of growth arrest is maximum, along with the deformity, chance of deformity is maximum, and due to this fracture the reduction will be very difficult. Now stage type 3, this type is just opposite to this type 2. It the fracture line goes through the hypertrophic zone, go through the joint, so it is lower part of fracture. L type 3 হচ্ছে L type. I will tell why I will tell it A. Just remember L for lower. Then some fracture can occur through the metaphyseal border. You will cross the physis and it ends up to the joint. It's called through everything, means metaphysis, epiphyseal plate and epiphysis, all through everything. TE. just remember TE for fourth type of fracture is called through the physeal plate, metaphyseal lesion and joint process. And last but not the least, due to compression, the physeal 5 plate will crust in the same area. This is called crust injury or R, crust. Just remember R. Now, as a total, all this classification is coined by Salter Harris classification. So, the name Salter itself signify the special type of fracture. S for type 1 state, A for above means fracture will go above, and in that case this type 2, that that is very common and dangerous type of fracture. Reduce reaction is difficult. There is a metaphyseal B, this is called Thurston Holland fragment. A for above. L, Salter, SAL, sol. L for lower. This fracture line go through the joint, then extend the lower, so L. And TER, TE means through everything, TE, fourth. And last is R for scratch. So you can remember this mnemonic, Salter. Okay. Now treatment. The treatment part in case of physeal injury, before going to treatment, you have to diagnose it first. How? Every type of pediatric fracture must be present with a hematoma or immobilization of the limb. Then, before going to any type of decision making, we have to take a X-ray, and by X-ray, normal radiograph can identify the fracture line. Then we have to go the classify the fracture accordingly. We have to treat. Like type 1 is for only displacement, we can reduce it and we can do it just KOR, simple KOR fixation. But in case of type 2, if we go we can, after reduction we can put 2 screw, but as this is an insult to the physis, never do anything which can damage this physis anymore. So only 2 screw which will hold this metaphyseal lesion as a lag effect. Lag effect means that will pull this bone to as this metaphyseal lesion. This is called lag effect. That due to lag effect, it will perfectly reduce. Next, again, just below the physis we can put a screw. This due to lag effect, it will hold. Again, in case of type 4, above and below we can put the one screw above, one screw below. Same principle is followed, but we do not do any injury physis. Now you will tell, sir, there is you are putting a KOR through this plate, then that is injured. See, where all the level or all through the physis is already injured, if you don't reduce, then chance of deformity and complication is high. So after reduction we just hold this this bone only just a punch up, so that will don't do more harm to the patient. It will help rather. Now after this type of operation, or after it, even if we check, if we go for close reduction, that is very easy in type 1, and the type 5 need no reduction, just slab immobilization is important. And during any any operation, that must be in a skillful hand, and it must be done under CM control, and minimum handling is recommended, because if we do multiple massage or multiple soft tissue bad handling, periosteal stripping, it can cause myositis ossificans. I already teach you about that, and that can cause multiple joint problems, stiffness, bad scar, and physeal growth arrest, and maximum thing can occur. So better do very minimum handling. Now suppose this patient came within 2 weeks, then we can go to following protocol. But if the patient came more than 14 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we cannot do proper reduction we cannot get proper outcome as we can do it in the early phase. So rather, when we try to explore this fracture or try to reduce it, we will do more harm, because the callus formation will occur very early in the pediatric age group. Within 2 weeks, there will be a huge callus. Now, to remove all the soft callus, we just hamper the normal biological healing process, and that will cause more damage to the physis. That will cause more growth arrest, and that will can hamper the local wound biology also. So better not to touch that patient after 14 days. Just do a plaster and help and hope for the best for remodeling, which is the indigenous plus point of the pediatric bone, and do a proper counseling. And what are the complications for physeal injury? Due to physeal injury, there can a chance of growth arrest, because physis is the sole factor which helps for encounter ossification and vertical growth of the bone. Now, suppose this part of the physis get early closure, so this can cause a bony bar, and in the cross sectional there is lateral bony bar. Sometimes it can cause in the middle, is called middle bony bar. It can cause a tenting effect during the growth, or it can shift a special type of bone in the anterarticular region. So there can linear bony bar also is called. This is called side, and this is linear. So all these type of growth arrest, they are have multiple multiple types and various effect of that growth around the joint. And most problem is limb length discrepancy in case of lower limb, and complete cessation of the longitudinal growth can lead to limb length discrepancy. Now, partial cessation of one side of the joint can cause angular deformity. This angular deformity is due to the peripheral arrest, and progressive deformity can occur in the central arrest. This is the central arrest. Now you will tell, sir, what will be the treatment? If we can assure or we can assess the how many growth is still present on that child, because suppose patient come at the age of 8 years or 9 years, now, or patient came near about 12 years or near about 16 years. So we have to calculate the time for the bone growth, and for that time there will be some remodeling, and there is a equation through which we can calculate the growth remaining of that part. And after assessing if the deformity is hampering in the mechanical support or in the linear and line of that weight bearing limb, then we have to go for correction. What type of correction? We can go one side of this physis, we can damage this physis also. This is called epiphysiodesis, or we can go for wedge correction. But the result of that part of this type of operation is very bad. So try to avoid the complication which I already told. And for this type of central bone scar, what we can do, we can make a window here, we can put a high speed bar, we can curate this type of bone union, and where we can put a fat graft that will help to prevent this denting. This is the recent advance. But the treatment of complicated case of physeal injury is very difficult. So better handle this physeal injury with proper care, and please diagnose this fracture fast. Now the last topic, but not the least, other types of pediatric fracture. First is Torus fracture. It is an impaction injury in the childhood, mainly in the metaphyseal region, most commonly found in the radius, distal radius, and is the compression of the one cortex. And see, this is called buckling fracture. This is also called buckling fracture. Only one cortex has been buckled. So this is that can be managed by immobilization only. No need to do any reduction, because the remodeling will occur automatically. Now, if the both cortex fracture along with bend or plastic deformity, like this stick, this is called green stick fracture. This is an incomplete break where one side of the bone is broken and another side is bent. This is called bowing. And in that case, that found in the diaphyseal region. But in respect to thorax fracture, they are most commonly found in the metaphyseal region. So that is the differentiating point. And there will be very minimum hematoma, there will be huge hematoma, and there will be very minimum deformity, there will be huge deformity, and there will be most common site is forearm and both bone leg, and most common site is distal radius or distal tibia. Now, in that case, the reduction is very important, because that if you put this fracture in a plaster, then that will be unevenly healed, so angular deformity can increase. But if we just reduce this with a clicking sound, typical clicking sound, just press this area with thumb, that will automatically reduce, no need to give any traction. So that will help that child in normal healing and without any deformity, and only plaster is needed, immobilization. Now, toddler fracture. What do you mean by toddler fracture? It is due to a trivial trauma. There is a very small spiral fracture, unicortical fracture, found in the distal one third of the tibia, in the maximum in the case of lower end of the tibia, most commonly found 1 to 3 years of child, due to a twisting injury or fall from the bed. And it is a stable injury, no need to do any reduction, nothing, just 3 to 4 weeks immobilization cast, that's all. No need need to do any intervention or any operation like that. So this is called toddler fracture. That only counseling stabilization is adequate. Now, generally, clavicle fracture we used to get, that is also a guinea stick fracture. For all guinea stick fracture, reduction is mandatory, but clavicle is a modified long bone, because it is vertically present. It does not bear the weight. It just transfer the weight. It has this clavicle has been treated by figure of 8 bandage, but this figure of 8 bandage or figure of 8 sling has a indigenous complication which can cause the brachial plexus injury. It can cause the compartment of syndrome, like brachial artery or axial artery can be compressed in this angle, so edema of the both limb, and this is very distressing also, so child cannot tolerate this. This is now obsolete. Now treatment is only arm sling is sufficient for this clavicle fracture. No need to do any reduction. Even if it is displaced, no need to do reduction, because there is a presence of the periosteum. That periosteum will help to localize the hematoma. After 2 to 3 weeks, that will cause a swelling, and that will be good callus formation, and remodeling automatically occur within 3 to 4 years. But you have to do a proper counseling of the anxious child. So I have in total completed all types of fracture in the pediatric age group, including last day we have teach you the supracondylar fracture and the pulled elbow lateral condyle fracture also. And just keep in mind regarding the pediatric fracture, some pediatric fracture like shaft femur fracture or shaft tibia fracture is displaced fracture. Sometimes we can get open fracture. In that case, we cannot use internal device, because if we want to put a nail, or if we then we can damage the physis. Now if we put a plate is sometimes needed, but if we put a plate, that can cause huge soft tissue injury, that can hamper the bone biology. And after as the bone will grow, this plate can, after the end of the plate, the normal bone and plate junction can be act as a stress riser effect. So in further, the long run, there is a chance of fracture over this normal bone junction. So implant removal is generally important for this pediatric age. So there is some limitation for treatment of the fracture. So maximum and all the fracture has beautifully healed due to the special the periosteum over the pediatric bone, and the acceptability range in the pediatric bone is too high. Means this type of angulation, I told you 90-degree angulation is acceptable in the femur, in the newborn. Same thing, as the age will the increase, the acceptability of the angulation, the degree of angulation of the acceptability of this fracture will be decreased. That means more age we will accept less angulation, because the chance of remodeling will be going to less. But very young age, maximum angulation can be accepted. Even for long bone, as a rule, generally 15 degree to 20 degree angulation can be acceptable, but in the adult only 5 degree angulation is accepted. Okay. And regarding the all deformity can be remodeled except rotation. The rotation of this any limb cannot be remodeled. So during plaster we should keep in mind, you have to maintain the limb rotation. Like we have to maintain a palm line. Palm line means you have to maintain the, suppose we are dealing with lower limb. Now when you have do a plaster, the we have to keep in mind the tibial tuberosity and the second toe must keep in a same vertical line. Same thing in the upper limb, we have to maintain one axis. So the rotation is very important to maintain this type of pediatric fracture. And for just last word regarding the pediatric fracture, new development implant is called TENS, titanium elastic nailing system. Titanium is special type of metal which has a high elasticity, and it can introduce through this physial through this the metaphyseal lesion 1.5 cm above the physis. Under CM we can just avoid this area. We can put we can make a hole over this metaphyseal lesion, that will be very weak zone, and we can put a nail. This is called titanium elastic rod, one from this side, one from this side, and we will go to this fracture area, and we will put this nail into the second part of the fracture. So that will heal. After that healing, that we can remove the nail. So there will be no hamper of the physis. But keep in mind, try to do maximum conservative in case of pediatric age group, because we have the potency of remodeling and union. So I think I can cover everything. Thank you.